हे गाइस, तो स्वागत है आप सबका मेरे चैनल सुनो कहानी में। टुडे वी आर गोइंग टू रीड रेड फ्लैग्स एंड रिश्तास, अ देसी रोम कॉम बाय राधिका अग्रवाल। सो इसके बारे में बहुत सारे मैंने रिव्यूज़ देखे थे और बोले थे कि बहुत ही सही है, मतलब कि सच में पूरा देसी रोम कॉम तुम्हें इसमें फील होगा रीड करने के बाद में। तो आई वॉज लाइक कि वाई नॉट टू ट्राई। सो इसीलिए मैंने आज से हम देखते हैं कि क्या होता है इस कहानी में और कैसी है ये। रेड फ्लैग्स के उसके नाम से तो हम सब नेगेटिव चीज़ें ही याद करते हैं, बट इसमें क्या ऐसा देसी रोम कॉम है, क्या कॉमेडी है, क्या रोमांस है, ये तो पढ़ के पता चलेगा। सो लेट्स स्टार्ट। फॉर बाबा, whose parting gift to me was the confidence to finish these books and the courage to chase my dreams. So these are the chapters: a serial dater, the failed fuckboy, a messy affair, the calm before the storm, a meal with a devil, occupational hazard, ground rules, blast from the past, all in a day's work. I spy with my little eye, playing cookie, a crafty plan, wedding hells, touch and go, heavy patting, the morning after, kicking the corporate ladder, he loves me not, a clean slate, work in progress. So, 20 chapters हैं. Today we are going to read first chapter, a serial dater. If my life was a rom-com, the guy sitting across from me would be the guy. Not the one I was currently on a date with. That would be far too obvious. I mean, the handsome man sitting behind me, two empty tables away. He would watch me from a distance, an amused smile on his face, right off the bat. He would know I was on an awkward first date, and a force greater than him would propel him to step in and save the day. He would run to me and tell me my car was being towed away, and I would follow him out into the parking lot. Even though I took an Uber to the cafe, we would escape to the street and hail an auto rickshaw, breathlessly smiling from ear to ear. That's it, the perfect meet cute. But of course, my life was not rom-com, and the man I was seamlessly fantasizing about in front of my date was not even looking at me. Shall we order? Asked Manan, patiently waiting for me to direct my gaze back to the menu. Oh, right, actually, I'm not that hungry. I'll just get a coffee, I said, ignoring the faint rumble in my stomach. You sure? It's dead in the afternoon, he said, sounding confused. I felt bad for him, but those were the rules. Coffee dates for the guys. I would ghost lunch dates for second date, count contenders, and dinner and drinks for when I was DTF. To survive dating apps for as long as I had, you had to have rules in place. Otherwise, you would be spending all your time playing nice to losers and crying over fuckboys who had no intentions of calling you back. Not that this guy was a loser per se. He seemed nice. We had been chatting for over a week and he was everything I looked for in second date contenders: funny, charming, respectful, and confident. I was so excited I would have saved him my prime spot lunch on a Saturday. But as I waited for my date to show up at the cafe today, I realized I had been catfished. Catfished. There are two types of catfishing. In my online dating handbook, the first is where you steal someone's identity or create a fictional one to seem more desirable. In the second, instead of lying about who you are, you only lie about few things. These lies could range from easily detectable physical traits like your weight or height to more personal details about your life like where you work and live or what you enjoy. So while Manan seemed like a perfectly nice guy, he had lied to me. I figured it out when I saw him getting out of his car. He was 5 inches shorter than the man I had matched with on Tinder. I could have bailed right but that was against the rules. Ghosting was fine. Everyone did it. But standing someone up, that was a real dick move, and I was not ready to brand it an asshole, even in the slippery world of online dating. So that's how I found myself sitting across from a type 2 catfish, trying to pretend I was not completely put off by his struggle to hop onto the high chair at our table. It's not that I had a problem with him being short. I have 5 feet too, so I had dated plenty of short guys. In fact, I found tall men slightly unwavering, but I hated that he would lie about his height on the app, and not just by an inch or two, by a solid margin. Tinder was full of men claiming to be 6 feet tall, and usually It was easy to spot the liars. Some of them would have photos taken from an upward angle, while some added a group photo that put things into perspective, but Manan had left no such clues for me to pick up on. His profile, I realized, had been carefully curated to fool women into thinking he was a tall, confident, and charming man when in reality he was deeply insecure. Can we get two cappuccinos, please? He asked the waiter, a look of longing crossing his face as he returned the food menu. So tell me about your work, he said to me after the waiter left our table. I told you in a text earlier, I work in the event team of a man's fashion and lifestyle website. There is not much else to tell. It's just regular work, I said. Right. We indulged in 5 minutes of small talk before Waitley's silence took over. The thing you should know about me is I am not afraid of awkward silence. In fact, I quite enjoy them. You can tell a lot about a man from the way he deals with a lull in conversation. For example, if he is too eager to fill the gaps, he interrupts silence as rejections. If he acknowledges it, he is trying to sledge a situation he thinks is not going in his favor. But the most telling reaction is what was happening to little Manan right now, excessive sweating. When a man begins to sweat in the face of an uncomfortable silence, he is not thinking straight anymore, he is panicking. And if I had read this guy right, he was about to ask me the question in 3 2. So, he said, clearing his throat. Yeah, I smiled sweetly at him, counting down the last digit in my head. What are you looking for? On Tinder, I mean. Bam. The sweaty ones always caved. Okay, just to be clear, I didn't have a problem with the question being asked. I just did not think it had any reason to exist so early on this conversation. But I was not going to tell him that. I was not going to tell him that the truth either. I had perfectly rehearsed answer for the about to be ghosted, something that would speed up the process and soften the eventual blow. Oh, just going with the flow. I'm not really in a place where I can focus on the people. I mostly keep to myself, but it's nice to get there and meet people once in a while. I said, the words tumbling out of me mechanically. Complete utter bullshit. I went on a date every week, more often than not with an entirely new person. I was definitely out there, just not for him. Right, okay, he said. When I did not ask him about his stance on the matter from there on, it was pretty easy. He drank his peeping hot coffee in a 5 whole seconds and called for the bill. Sooner after, I was out of the stuffy cafe and lounging in the air conditioned backseat of a cab in a less than 15 minutes. My room seemed smaller than its actual size, thanks to the large shopping bags that were scattered everywhere. They belonged to my best friend, Virinda, who, in her nonchalant way, was flirting the spoils of her latest retail escapade. Come on, I had get bored without you, Virinda said, turning around to examine the folds of the metallic green Bronex and Banco dress in the mirror. Stop fretting. You look fantastic, like a goddess even, I said, hoping the compliment word would distract her from pursuing the matter any further. Don't change the subject, Ananya, she scolded before letting herself crack a smile, but hey, thank you. Virinda Longstrom's boyfriend was throwing a party tonight and she wanted me to come. She had promised that it would not be like the last time or the time before that or the one before that. Of course, I had no reason to believe her. In the 4 years the we and Saurav had been together, I had come very close to physically assaulting people at every party he had thrown. Saurav was great, but I could not for the life of me get along with any of the rich brats in his social circle. They had all grown up in South Delhi, attended private school. They took them to Europe for exchange programs and had miraculously glided into their late 20s without a single worry detaining their charmed existence, and they made sure to rub it in my face every chance they got. Not only did we have absolutely nothing in common, but I also found them truly, truly insufferable. And sure, you could argue that Verinda came from their part of the world, but she was not like them, not one bit. I am not changing the subject. I just can't come this time, I said, rolling over on my stomach to reach for my phone. I scrolled mindlessly through Instagram, pretending to be distracted from the corner of my eye. I saw Verinda peeling her eyes from the mirror to face me. She crossed her arms in front of her chest, waiting for me to look up. When I did not, she let out an exaggerated sigh and plopped down on the bed next to me. But why? What can be more important than hanging out with your best friend in the whole Wide world, she said, pouting. I'm hanging out with her right now. I pointed out and scooted over so she could snuggle up in my blanket. She peeped into my phone, letting herself get stuck into the empty, addictive world of social media. It had a video of puppy who was too scared to jump from a teeny step, and you at a Bollywood lip sync reel or a school classmate had posted. This was my favorite part of the week. We and I hang out all the time, sometimes at mine, less often at hers, almost always indoors. This inside the room had decorated. I had decorated as a teenager was where I felt our friends our friendship thrived the most. We had practically grown up here, spending countless hours through schools and colleges discussing fashion, pops, stars, and boys. It was under the posters of SRK and Coldplay that we had watched porn for the first time, lying on this very bed. My mirror had seen us attempt and fail it. Many makeup trends over the years. In 10th grade, we had hidden an abandoned kitten in my double door wardrobe and sat in silent protest on my wooden floor when my mom told us we could not keep it in this room. We had choreographed dance routines for our future weddings, even when we were painfully single, and bitched about how our boyfriend sucked when we were not. This right here was perfect. I was not a fan of being placed in other settings, especially if they had anything to do with pretentious parties. So, what is it that's keeping you so busy tonight? We asked. Her tone was casual, a calculated attempt to broach the subject again. I said, racking my brain for an excuse that she would consider legitimate. I have a date. Didn't you just go on a date this afternoon? She asked, giving me the side eye before her need to be filled. This in took over. How was there? That, by the way. Blah. I'm going to end up alone, I said, forcing some dejection into my voice. Hey, come on, she said, bumping her elbow with mine. You are never going to be alone. You have me. I smiled, turning on my side to look at her. Verinda was beautiful, and I did not mean the regular kind of beautiful. Not only did she have the most chillest editorial face, but she was also athletic, tall, and graceful, which, if I am being honest, sometimes made me envious. I was her cute, clumsy, short best friend. Okay, not that sort. FI. FYI. I was above the average Indian woman's height, but next to her I felt like a minion from Despicable Me. So you are breaking the one date a week rule, huh? She asked, referring to my imaginary date later tonight. I guess I am, I said and signed before adding, I need some action to get me through the disaster that in my life. She smacked my face with Mr. Cronky, my stuffed pink unicorn. You are so dramatic. Hey, you live for the drama, I restored, snatching my childhood friend from her. Hey, I have got the perfect idea, she said, her eyes twinkling. No, I am not bringing him to the party, I said, rolling my eyes at her. But why not? Come on, Annie, don't be such a buzzkill. I honestly didn't like doing this. It was not fun to see her disappointment, and it was definitely not enjoyable to lie to her. But something just had to be done. He's just not a party kind of guy. He's made a reservation at the new rooftop restaurant in Connaught Place. Who does not like parties? He sounds awful. What's his name anyway? She said, then added, but oh, rooftop. Oh, how romantic. Talking to Virenda was often like dealing with two personalities all at once. Some people found it annoying, but I didn't mind it. I felt like I had two best friends at the same cost of one. I know that make me sound kind of pathetic, but hey, I am just being resourceful. His name is Akash, I said, coming up with the most generic name I could think of. I was beginning to fear that she would ask to see his Tinder profile, but before she could interrogate me further, the door to my room swung open. My mom walked in holding a tray with a bowl of fruits, a packet of chips, and two glasses of lemonade. Mom, I wanted a cola, I said, pointing to the lemonade. She pulled my side table to the front of the bed and set the tray down on it. Do you know how much sugar that thing has? You will get a tummy like your mummy, she said, slightly pleased with her rhyme. Verinda laughed, giving her all the encouragement she needed to go on. Verinda beta, teach her no. You are always eating healthy and going to the gym and all. And this Alu can't even get her own snacks from the kitchen. She clapped my arms on the word Alu. Verinda laughed some more before finally noticing the murderous look I was throwing her. Alu, she's thinner than me, auntie, she finally said. Too thin if you ask me, my mother mumbled, adjusting her dupatta. Mom, what's your problem? I asked, opening the packet of chips with a loud pop. You are my problem, she said, then leaned forward to tuck a stray hair behind my ear. I just don't want people to judge my little Alu. Can you please stop calling me that? I demanded, smoothing my loose sleeve Carol t-shirt over my stomach as if to reassure myself that I had not magically gained weight under the scanty of my mother's gaze. Who is judging her? Brenda asked. You didn't tell her? Mom asked, looking at me like I was supposed to know what she was talking about. No, what's there to tell? Don't tell me you forgot, she said as her hand immediately flew to cup her head. The Chauhans are coming to see you tomorrow. I sort up from the bed like someone had lit a fire under my butt. Wait, that's tomorrow, I said at the same time as V's voice went extremely shrill. Someone's coming to see you? I held a heart to her, trying to telepathically communicate. I'll explain later. Don't feed this fire right now. Her eyes practically screamed at me. Coming to see you, like for marriage? Mom, you know how I feel about this whole thing. I said I'm going to turn him down, she said, shaking her head as she said, first time meet him now. He's a nice boy from such a nice family. You haven't even met him. I said, throwing my hands up in the air. Okay, don't get mad. You don't have to do anything. Just sit through tomorrow. It's too late to back out of it, she said, giving up. When I did not respond, she bent over to peck my forehead. After a few moments of stubborn silence, she left Brenda and me alone to discuss the mess. Oh my god, she breathed. I know I whined, but you hate arranged marriage. I know, but you don't have to do it, right? You just have to meet this guy, she pounded. I didn't know why I had agreed to this. As our school psychology teacher would put it, I had let my parents get a foot in the door. Now that I had compiled once and given them an in, it would be easier to get to me agree to their bigger request in the future. If I was not careful, I had find myself marrying a Lalaji's son in one time. A week ago, when mom and dad had brought up the topic of Sadi at the dinner table, I had thought nothing of it. They were discussing potential matches for my cousin Ria, who was 29 and looking, and suddenly they started talking of this one boy who worked in marketing, had seven-figure salary, and apparently looked like a movie star. I oh it and it at regular intervals, pretending to be interested in my cousin's fiance to be until it dawned on me that they were not talking about match for Ria. They are so sneaky, man. They made my biodata without asking me, and you know the worst part? What? Brinda asked, her face aghast. They used the horrible photo of me from Garima's Diwali party. I groaned. She snicked before her face went deadpan again. You know, they just worry about you because you haven't had a real relationship in years. Ever since Mr. You Know Who, she said, pulling me close. We didn't talk about my ex. That was another role. It was a story as old as a time. Hot musician meets gullible girl, leads her own, and then breaks her heart forever, turning the way she lived and loved. I nested my head in the crest of her shoulder and said, I know. You just need to put yourself out there a bit more, she said, rubbing my arm gently. You know, meet new people, and I don't mean off the apps. Talk to real people, she said. Where I'm going to find these real people, I asked, pursing my lips. I don't know, anywhere at the supermarket or the park or parties, she whispered the last part into my ear. I tore away from her. God, you are relentless. Come on, just come. You'll I'll be your wing woman, she said. I signed she was not going to let this go. When we wanted something, she made sure she got it, especially with me. Fine, but I am not letting you set up with any of your Saurav's annoying friends. I'll bring my date. She squeezed and hugged me again, satisfied with her victory. Meanwhile, my brain was busy making a list of things I needed to arrange in the next 3 hours. A bomb ass outfit, a guy called Akash. यहाँ पे हमारा ये चैप्टर ख़त्म होता है फर्स्ट चैप्टर बहुत ही इंटरेस्टिंग लगा है, मतलब फर्स्ट चैप्टर से इतना इंटरेस्टिंग है तो आई डोंट नो कि आगे और क्या होने वाला है। और ये बुक अभी तो मेरे को सही लग रही है, बट आप अपना रिव्यू ज़रूर देना कि आपको ये बुक कैसी लगी, और अगर आपकी कोई फेवरेट बुक है जो आप नहीं पढ़ पा रहे हैं या बीच में छूट गई है तो कमेंट करिए, मैं आपको प्रोवाइड कराऊंगी वो बुक। थैंक्स फॉर वॉचिंग। डोंट फॉरगेट टू लाइक शेयर एंड कमेंट।